Hey everybody, welcome to week 6 of, oh my gosh, I've got a Kleenex in my, does anybody else do that? My mom used to put them in her sleeves. Um, Allergy season, right? Oh my gosh, how embarrassing. We are professional around here. Welcome to week 6 of my 12 weeks of Christmas series. My name is Leslie Benson. If this is your first time here, I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And I show people how to make fun crafts, decor items, greeting cards using stamps, paper, and ink. And today I have a fun shaker card, that we're going to make for week 6 of the 12 weeks of Christmas. So let's turn the camera. We'll go this way. There we go. There's a lot of lights in here, so the shine on the shaker element is I hope it's not too distracting. But this is, some people call it a faux shaker card, but I don't know why you would call it faux because it's a shaker card. So I don't call it a faux shaker card, but it's an easy peasy card to make. And so let's get started and let's make it. I'm starting with a piece of 8.5 by 5.5 inch thick basic white cardstock from Stampin' Up! I like to use the thick cardstock. The camera's a little wonky here. For my card bases, because you see we're going to add all of this on top of it on the front of the card. So I want the back of the card to have a little bit of oomph, if that makes sense. So I like to use the thick basic white when I'm doing card bases. The next thing we're going to do is take a piece of Real Red because I'm pulling colors out of our Designer Series paper, which is the Sweetest Christmas Designer Series paper. So I'm using a Real Red, and this is, I believe I did it very 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Just a very slight white frame around that layer. So let's put that on the card. I'm just using my Stampin' Seal double-sided adhesive tape runner to adhere this to my card front. And I want to make sure we get that pretty square on there. Someone taught me if you line up at least the top right-hand square, everything else will fall into place, and that was good advice to follow. Now, for our shaker element, we are going to use one of our Stampin' Up's clear envelopes. These come in a pack of, I believe, 50, and they're called clear medium envelopes. I like to store my cards in these, the cards that I'm, waiting to send, just to keep them safe and dry and in good shape. But we're going to use this for our little shaker portion. So, and I'll have a list of all the products I'm using in the comments below. And also, if you go to my blog, or you're on my mailing list, you would have received the PDF tutorial for this project. So if you're watching on YouTube, hop on over to theplaidpoodle.com, and there will be a link to receive the full color PDF of this project. Okay, I'm just adding a piece of the Designer Series paper in here, and I believe this measures 3 3/4 by 5. And you'll notice the envelope is a little bigger, but that's okay because we're going to just tape it behind. But before we do that, well, I'm going to do this side first, and then we'll add our sequins. We're going to just use some Scotch tape. I'm just going to bring in my office supplies, and we're going to fold this over. I've put the Designer Series paper real tight down here in the corner. And I'm going to just fold this over, and tape it down to itself. It's not going to be very pretty, but nobody's going to see it. I call this smoke and mirrors. And then if you want, you can kind of take your bone folder and give it a little burnish to really crease that in there. But when we adhere it down to our card base, it's going to be fine. Okay, now we're going to add our sequins, and I am not using Stampin' Up! Sequins. I had a whole bag of sequins that my grandchildren used for crafty projects, and so I just pulled some from there. But if you're interested in purchasing some sequins, I will list the ones I would choose for this project. You don't want adhesive backed sequins. You want loose sequins. And these are all red, green, gold. That might be a little too much, but I think we're good. Now these envelopes have a little adhesive closure. So I'm going to pull that off and then just kind of very tightly bring this down. And then I'm going to just add a little strip of tape on the edges there. Can't hardly even see the edge over here, so I think we are good because we had that folded over. I'll put it down here just to make sure we've got a good. So there, that is it. That is our shaker portion of the card. Isn't that cool and so easy? Now I'm going to put it on the card front, and for that I am going to use some of our Terran tape. It's very strong and sturdy, and it will keep it onto our card front without any problems. I'm just going to put a layer of this tape on all four sides of the back, of course. And then we will lift up that backing. This is double-sided tape. It's just a little stronger than our Stampin' Seal. Okay, and then we want to put this right, oh, I've got a little piece of my adhesive tape showing, and I don't want that to show, so I'm going to peel that little bit of that off of there. Alrighty. We're going to just center that right on the card front. And there we go. There's our little shaker element for the card. See how easy that is? Now, for the card front, I'm going to add some candy canes and this little tag with a ribbon. And for that, I'm using the Sweetest Christmas Designer Series paper, the Sweet Candy Canes bundle. If you order the bundle with the dies, you save 10% and you get these candy cane dies. And I have cut out two opposing, does that make sense? One of them is facing right and one of them is facing left. Stampin' Up! Made it so that we could cut out these images with the dies. I love it when they do that. So I cut out two candy canes from the paper, or we could have stamped two candy canes and cut them out with the dies, but we've got the paper, so I went ahead and did that. Then I also used this die that comes with the bundle and cut it out of basic white. And then I'm going to stamp a couple of these little greeneries onto some basic white to just kind of tuck in the ribbon there. And I'm using Garden Green. That is pulled from the Designer Series paper as well. And I'm just using a little scrap of basic white. And then I'm going to use the dies to cut those out. And voila, there we go. So this is what you're going to need to put the front together along with your ribbon. This ribbon comes in a combo pack with Garden Green and Real Red. I'm going to use the Real Red. And I am just going to kind of stack these candy canes on the card front, and I am going to use my Stampin' Seal. These die cuts directly right on top of that clear envelope. Okay. And I want one to be just a little higher than the other one, but I want that crisscross to kind of show at the bottom. So I'm going to kind of manipulate it before I press it down. And I'm kind of putting it left of center there. And then we're going to take this die cut and run a length of ribbon through and tie it in a bow. And I'm just kind of guesstimating how much ribbon I need and hoping it works out. Do you ever do that? Okay, it's about 16 inches, a little shy of 16 inches is what I used. And I'm going to go ahead and glue my tag down or tab piece down just to make it easier for me to tie the bow. It'll have a little stability if that makes sense. Make sure my ribbon is pretty even. I'm going to put it right there. I'm not popping anything up. I'm using adhesive and I'm just adhering it directly onto the candy canes and the card. Okay, and then I kind of like to use my tweezers when I'm doing ribbon or bows. These are reversible tweezers. And I might need to pull my ribbon a little. So I do the right over left before I tie the bow, and then I just use my tweezers to kind of hold them all together and wrap. And that was way too much ribbon, so you could probably get away with 14 inches. But it's pretty, it's a nice big ribbon. This one's a little small bow, and then we've got a large bow. So it's all your preference. No mistakes. And we'll just kind of trim our ends. This one's a little, there we go. I want you to be able to see the candy canes, not the ribbon. That's pretty, that bow is pretty. Okay, now we're going to take our 2 stamped pieces of greenery, and I am just going to take some liquid glue. You could just use your tape runner and just glue a little sprig coming out of the top and a little sprig coming out of the bottom, just to add a little bit more interest to that card. And then on the inside, we probably should have done this before we added all of our good stuff, but no worries. I always like to do my stamping first in case I flub up. Then I can, I haven't ruined all this. I love this little sentiment that comes with the stamp set. I'm using the wishing you lots of love, joy, and happiness this Christmas season and always. And I love this one too. May the good times of today become the cherished memories of tomorrow. Really nice inside of card sentiments. And I'm going to try and get this straight without putting my head right underneath my camera here. And we did good. I stamped that in real red. There we go. So that is our shaker card. This big bow is bugging me. I'm going to make it a little smaller. There we go. It just doesn't want to get tight. There we go. Now this one's larger than the other one. Is there anyone out there that just really likes to play with their bows till they're dead? I mean, I would spend all day trying to figure out if I like how my bow looks. And I don't like how that looks for sure. Oh my goodness. Hold on. It just keeps getting shorter and shorter. It's like my mom when I was a kid trimming my bangs. They just kept getting shorter and shorter. Okay, that is our little shaker cards for week 6 of the 12 weeks of Christmas. Thank you for joining me. If you are not on my mailing list, I'll put the link down below the video and you can sign up so that you don't miss any of the remaining weeks that we have left. You can also go to my blog and find the first 5 weeks there. You'll have to just kind of scroll. They're in amongst all my other projects that I share. So there's a lot of great free content over there. So don't hesitate to sign up for my email list. I send out every Tuesday. I try and send out a free tutorial. So would love to have you join us. And if you need a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I would love to help you with your paper crafting needs. Okay, everybody, we will see you next week for week number 7. Oh my gosh, we're getting closer to Christmas. Have a great rest of your day, and we will talk soon. Bye-bye.